Welcome to An American Accent. This video has 5 tips for Spanish speakers who are trying to be as comprehensible and native-like in English. Tip number 1, slow down, especially on important content words. Many Spanish speakers speak very quickly in English and don't emphasize any particular word, and it's harder for them then also to say them clearly. So being fluent is not speaking fast. It's using American or English speaking patterns, using stress and intonation for the sentences in a good way, highlighting the important information. So when you're saying something, the most important information is usually toward the end. And yet, Spanish speakers have a tendency to kind of drop down at the end and say it quickly. So you may lose the entire important information for the listener if you're not saying that word clearly, and you're expected to go higher, longer, and louder on such words. For example, I have an apartment in Englewood. Since Englewood is the most important, you don't want to go down there and say it very quickly and mispronounced. I'm a driver at UPS. You don't want to go UPS, but UPS, say it clearly, and make sure you know how to pronounce words that are important to you. Name of occupation, workplace, city you live in, street you live on. My major is public health. You don't want to go, my major is public health, and then it just drops down, because then what was the point of saying it if people can't hear public health? That's the important information. I'm graduating with a double major. Now that is the most important information. So you want to go up, go longer, say very clearly, and louder. And you need to learn the sentence stress. English is stress timed. Spanish is syllable timed. It kind of goes, it's the same length of syllable for every syllable, while English goes more like da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum. So you have this alternating between longer, stronger words and short, less focused on words. He's an important contact for us. I don't want to see your family right now. Why was that employee moved to another department? The kind of words that we stress are nouns, as in contact and family and employee, adjectives like important, main verbs like moved, and C, negative auxiliary verbs or helping verbs like don't, question words like why, and also numbers. Tip 3, make sure to pronounce end consonants, especially stop sounds, which is really difficult. In Spanish, you usually don't end a word with stopping the airflow. You usually have a vowel or an easy to say consonant at the end of a word, like an N, for example. Stop sounds are sounds like p, b, k, g, t, d. There's a tendency to drop those at the end of a word. And generally speaking, dropping the last consonant in a consonant cluster when you have 2 or more consonants together. And here are some examples saying were instead of work. Par instead of part, almost instead of almost, like instead of like, spore instead of sport, first instead of first, thing instead of think, weekend instead of weekend, skill instead of skills, and phi instead of 5. Tip 4, learn the vowel sounds. There are 5 letters in the alphabet that are considered vowels, but there are actually about 15 vowel sounds in English, and spelling is not helpful. You can't really predict pronunciation of vowels, especially in the more common, shorter words. So you have to really listen for it and not think spelling. For example, staff, I hear stuff. Well, that's a completely different word. Money, and people might say money when they mean many. Live, and they might say it so it sounds like leave. Cheap might sound like chip, potato chips. And cup instead of cap, ah. I have videos on the color vowel chart and also on sentence stress and intonation. I'll put some in the description below. And the last tip, there are certain trouble consonants, B and V, which are very different in English, Y and J, where the spelling confuses you compared to how you pronounce it in Spanish, and also sh, ch. So B and V, often you want to say it like a B in the beginning and like a V at the end or middle. So verb becomes verb, or at least it sounds like that to us. Y is not pronounced J in English, it's just Y, like I-E, Diego. But J is a J sound. So we got project, year. And then you have the sh and the ch. So CH has like a little T sound before it. Ch. You stop the airflow first. Ch. But SH is a continuing sound. Sh. So you have, for example, sheep, and you don't want to say cheap, or ship, chip. So it's important to learn those because there can be confusion. Another thing which I think you are aware of is adding an E before S plus consonant. For example, for the word state would be to try to hold an S, state. And then you make it shorter and shorter until you can say it beginning with an S and not estate. State, 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 state. I hope you find this helpful. If you do, please like and subscribe. See you next time. Thanks for watching.